Hi, everyone. Thanks once again for joining us. It's another edition of the Shagalinku TV program, and it's a beautiful Tuesday. We're streaming live from the land of Duse, the hilly, rocky land of Duse, Jigawa, and that's why you're seeing the background is a bit dark and all that, but not to worry, we'll just manage it the way it is. It's the Tuesday's edition of Shagalinku. My name still is Ambassador Emmanuel Gabari, your anchor, and it's good to be here with you again. Okay, I did tell you people last week, Saturday, when we did the last edition, that we'll be looking at depression. Why are people not talking about it? Why are even the persons stigmatizing themselves? Because when the flyer came out, I got a lot of inbox messages, and people said it's about stigma. People said it's about this. And I'm like, even if there's a stigma, I think it's coming from the person, because not until someone speaks out about being depressed, it's usually passed as the person is a normal person, so to say. So I think the stigma is even based on the person already stigmatizing himself or herself and having this no self-worth or low self-esteem and all that. Anyway, I have a guest. She's a professional. She's going to be dealing and dissecting all we need to know about depression, why it happens, how we can solve it, or how we can treat it if it's treatable. That's her field, and she's going to be letting us know all that. I have with me here Miss Julie Mogbo, the family bond nurse, co-founder of Royale nursing consult in Abuja. She also does a whole lot of guest speaking and private therapy, so to say, consultants in so many areas. You'll be getting to know more about that from her. We're also streaming live in three destinations actually. We're streaming live on Shagalinku TV Facebook page. We're streaming live also on Shagalinku TV YouTube page, and then we're streaming live on my personal page, Ambassador Emmanuel Gabari. And yes, you can also drop your comments on our guest page. If she has even dropped the link there, you can drop your comments on our page. And if she has access to our page, she will read out some of the comments there too. Ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome my guest to the program. Hello, Julie. It's good to have you.
Hi, Ambassador Emmanuel. How you doing?
Thanks. I'm good. Thanks for joining us. I understand you are always busy on the field, but we really appreciate you taking this time to join us. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. It's always a pleasure to grab any opportunity to help out.
We sincerely appreciate. I'd like you, before we even go on to talk more about depression, I'd like you, for our viewers, if there are things we missed out on your profiling, I'd like you to tell us a few more things about you, the work you do, and other things we need to know before we go on.
Okay, so thank you very much once again for this great opportunity. I am a registered nurse, the way I usually introduce myself, but I'm not the
Mhm.
regular kind of nurse that you might know and others will know. Because when people hear the word nurse, they expect that the nurse has an injection in her hand and administer and all that. But my experience as a child before I became a nurse and my experience during nursing training led me into discovering a path that ties strongly with family, the mind, the spirit, and the body. So I render psychosocial care. What I do, first of all, I coordinate care for families because I discover that many families go through the stage of birth up until death, but lack information about how to stay healthy, physicians to work with, how to access care, and all of that. So I come in, coordinate the care for patients or for families. The other work that I do is to take patients through sessions that could make them go through any health treatment and come out with their desired outcomes or expectations. So I do training, I do coaching, I train and coach professionals. When I say professionals, nurses as well, because the demand for the kind of services that I render is becoming almost overwhelming. So I'm empowering nurses to be able to be more to their patients than just administering medications. So I coach, I train, I engage in therapies, I coordinate care, and of course, I work with childbearing families basically because I have this flair and concern for children, and then for pregnant families. So I just categorize them as childbearing families. So those that are planning on conceiving, those that are first time parents, and those that are still raising children up until teenagehood before they become young adults, that's my primary area of focus. Before I get onto singles who are about to start a family. So before you conceive, you are first single. So I work with singles as well, how you can set up a structure for your home and minimize relational frictions, because many of the problems we see in families just borders on lack of enough capacity to handle the inevitable events that will play out in families. So when it comes to setting up a system that minimizes frictions, that leverages relationships to improve human functioning, that's where you've got me.
Wow. Thank you very, very, very much for that huge introduction. It's really gone a long way. I'm sure a lot of our viewers will be thinking what way they will need your service. I think you're an all-rounder. So, aside the family nuclear setting, you also, because I was going to ask you when you started talking about family and all that, and I'm like, what about the singles that don't they also have a place in your menu for advice and all that? So thank you very much, Julie. Let's come to first of all, let's share our experience when it came to the fact when your flyers came out. For me, it was huge. I didn't know that will even blow up a whole lot of controversy because so many people inboxed me to say this is just the right time to talk about this. I was just getting messages all around. In fact, someone told me that he was going to share in fact, I dropped it even on the comment section in Facebook, that he was going to share his own experience if time permits him. I just pray he's able to join us because of network, but I'm happy the videos will always be here for them to also watch even after the program. In fact, someone else also told me that when he got to year 3 or year 4 in the university, they had to tell him he had one issue, blah blah blah, like that, and then the only option is for him to withdraw from the school and then go start afresh again. So that he was just on the verge that see suicide, see him, and how he came out of that, he really didn't know. So I really didn't know that would draw a whole lot of reactions. How was it like from your own end when the flyers came out?
Yes, well, it's not so new, the topic of depression, and the many people who have come down with it and are facing or fighting it. But when I posted the flyer on a particular group of nurses that I coordinate, uh, someone still sent me a message last night, and she was sharing her experience. And she said that she's down. She feels she's depressed, and she was letting out a whole lot. First of all, when people take the bold step to share these things, I just tell them that I thank them for sharing because
Sure.
it's a courageous step and
Mm,
decision to make. I need to talk to someone. That's bravery, that's courage. So I had a number of people send in messages. And even before then, a staff of mine who works in a facility, a healthcare facility as well, she's a temporal staff of mine, she shared her experience. I didn't hear from her 2 days. We talk every day. She's a virtual assistant. We talk every day. So I didn't hear from her for 2 days. The third day I contacted her, I was equally busy. And then she said that she's been down. What happened? I under my watch, as in this is my own person, you're down. What could possibly be wrong? And she said that she got to work and discovered that one of her colleagues almost committed suicide, attempted suicide. I said, "Oh my goodness, what happened?" He's a health worker, and this is someone that is younger, not under the age of 30. It was shocking to her. Then I asked her the question, who discovered this? Who found her? And my staff said she was the one. So I could not even imagine how it was for her. But she was really, really affected. The fact that she could have come to work and just discovered that her colleague is no more. What happened? So there probably would have been guilt of Why didn't I listen? Was that what she was trying to tell me? What could I have done to have avoided this? How come she was with us in our midst and we never knew that she was undergoing depression? And she found her. And thank God for her observation skills. She probably would not have known. And that lady would just have passed on right there at the office because she had already written a note asking her parents to come pick up her body. It's a terrible situation we find ourselves in, especially in a time where we're fighting a pandemic in the midst of an economic meltdown. It's not a good combination for someone to sit and enjoy at all. So it kind of provoked a lot of reactions, people sending messages, remembering, and having the boldness or the confidence to also tell about what they're currently going through. So I really do commend you for bringing up this topic. It's something that we should always talk about, just that there are so many other issues, and so sometimes it's as
True,
if
true.
we pick one time to talk about depression or mental health, and then we are facing other issues. But this should just be somewhere popping up on people's screen every now and then so that they know that they can access help.
Hmm. Whew, that's very deep, because I personally also had a close shave with someone. I was when I was working on my album, we were supposed to do a video shoot, and then a couple of young people were dancing for my video, and then I noticed one of the chaps didn't come for the rehearsals prior to the video shoot, and I asked after him. They said maybe the mom sent him on an errand or something. Then we were busy with shooting and all that. Then 2 days after shoot, we just heard on radio that the guy had killed himself right in their living room. That it was the mom that came back home to see him hung on the ceiling fan. Till date, I haven't forgiven myself, because I just felt I was so busy with trying to shoot music video. I didn't remember. Probably if I just paid a little more attention while we were rehearsing, I probably would have noticed a few tips. Maybe he was reckless, maybe he was holding on to himself and all that. And he left a note that the girl he was in love with, he went to see her, and then he met an older okay, he met the girl's
So
boyfriend there. So the girl's boyfriend is like an uncle to him. Not that they are blood related, but like an older person who is like a mentor to him. So this is someone he runs to all the time. Okay, uncle, I have this issue, or uncle, my babe did this to me, and all that. So it was really a huge triangle. And I'm like, till date, I haven't been able to forgive myself because I'm like, if I had just maybe when we didn't see him during those 2 days rehearsals, I'd just gone to look for him. But I was just busy running for costumes, trying to get there. I was just busy for them that I did. Till date, I'm like, oh God, if I had just remembered. So it's so like we just see the person now, and then the next minute we're not seeing. So you can imagine if that your colleague had not just done that. That's how you will just see all that. Okay, let me even come back to you. You've been in this field, and I'm really happy I'm talking to someone who is into all this, especially with the family lane and the singles lane, because sometimes people just think depression is only for people who are poor, economic depression because of money, and then you find multi-rich, celebrities, people. I was watching TV 3 days ago, and then a man was talking about how he uses psychopathy or something to, well, he was one of the medical personal physicians for Michael Jackson. And then the interviewer was asking, just few days when your flyer came out, so the interviewer was asking that why do people commit suicide a lot. He said that surprisingly people think it's only poor people who commit suicide, that the depression is even worse with celebrities because the pressure of keeping touch, you have to keep to fashion, you have to keep you're as good as your last job. So the depression and all that is so high on them. Now, can you take us through what depression is, so that, because sometimes people might even be depressed and they don't know. Someone just told me this morning that this your topic now, wahala, that do you know someone might be depressed now? Ambassador, as I'm talking to you, I might be depressed. I wouldn't know.
Honestly, yeah. So I'm just going to use the layman language. I'm going to break it down, make it simple, and I really do hope that someone will be able to understand. And regardless of what I say, they need to understand that they have to be clinically diagnosed to be depressive. Now, first of all, depression is one word that has been grossly abused and overused and misused. So people just say, I'm depressed, I'm depressed, I'm depressed. So when you make a statement that sounds like a fact, you have locked up any chances of you coming out of that situation. So when you say something like, I am depressed, that's like a roadblock. That's like you're locking yourself up in the room. But let's break it down. We wake up in the morning and have certain responsibilities, either towards ourselves or towards other people. You wake up, you have a place to go, you have a spouse to answer, you have a partner to respond to, you have children maybe to answer, you have one or two things that you're looking forward to. Even if you don't have anything to look forward to, you have yourself to take care of. You eat, you have your bath, you clean your room, you watch TV, you play, do anything with yourself. Now, if you find yourself or you find out that your normal activities begin to suffer and it is happening again day one, day two, day three, you need to take a break and do a thorough assessment of yourself. So if you find out that you wake up in the morning, you don't even feel like getting out of bed, at that moment, pause. Why am I feeling like this? If you wake up in the morning, you have your bath, there's no motivation to go to work, and you feel that if I go to work, there's one person at the office I really don't want to see. Oh my goodness, I'm going to meet this person again. Oh my goodness, I'm going to have to see this person again. I'm going to have to go there again. I really, if I had my way, I wouldn't want to go. So if you discover that you have lost interest in your regular activities, something that would normally light up the bulbs in your eyes, and then all of a sudden it doesn't mean anything to you anymore, not the one that happens like one off. It happens today, happens the day after, happens 3 days after. You need to watch it. You need to pause. You need to ask yourself a question. I usually say one thing: the greatest disservice that we could do to ourselves is not to tell ourselves the truth. You could lie to someone, but lying to yourself is the greatest disservice anyone could do. So at that particular point that you're feeling what you're feeling, ask yourself, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? How can I not feel like this? How can I start feeling what I want to feel? Let's start having these conversations. It's just so sad that in this climb, when I say this climb, I'm talking about Africa, we are raised like, I would say, the barracks kind of training, where just hear and do. You don't question, you don't ask. For you to even get clarity, when you ask, when you send someone or someone gives you an instruction and says, oh, please keep that cup here, and then you want to confirm and say, should I keep the cup on the table? No, 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 come and put it on my head. And this person just wants clarity. So what is our problem? Why can't we? Oh, yes, please keep it there. This, what I'm saying is not because I've overcome it. I learn every day. Now I have my children. So when they ask the question, and then the African mother in me wants to say, no, come and put it on my head, I pause. And then I say, okay, yes, keep it there. Or I go to the extent of saying, where do you think that cup should be? And then the child gives the response. I say, okay, fine. It's a tough part of parenting, but I have decided to be deliberate with my training. So, where we are trained to just take instruction, do as you are told, don't question it, is part of our foundational problem. So, we cannot question how we feel. So it's like, why are you questioning that? You just feel like that. You embrace it. You have to deal with it. People, I'm glad you mentioned something about singles, and this sometimes happen, even to the point of you want to get married. So you are having or developing cold feet towards that knot, your marital knot you're about to tie. What stops you from pausing and asking yourself, why am I feeling this way? What could possibly be the matter? But because we are used to, well, that is a cross. We have to carry it. Things just happen. It will go away and all of that. We go on, get married, and because we are human beings and there's a limit we can go. these things come up. And because we haven't built the capacity to manage whatever issues spring up in our lives later in the future, you see them crumbling. So, talking about depression generally, once you find that your activities of daily living is being affected and it's happening over and over again, it's happened the first time, the second time, the third time, pause and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? When you ask yourself that question, you are likely to come up with an answer. And if you cannot come up with any reason why you're feeling the way you're feeling, please pick up the phone and call somebody that you trust. So that's, I hope I've been able to explain to people what this is. It's a mood condition. It's kind of a mood disorder. So we are driven by how we feel. We do things, and most of our decisions are taken emotionally. So if our emotions are distorted, it's going to affect our daily activities. But we may not know because we aren't used to discerning, asking ourselves those questions. But if you kind of observe that you're losing interest in certain activities, you're not doing things like you would normally do, then that's the time to pause and ask yourself questions or seek help.
Mm. True, true. Okay, in case you just joined us, this is a Tuesday's edition of Shagalinku, and I'm here with my guest, Lady Julie, and she's taking us through what it is we can call depression, and she'll be profiling some of the solutions. But yeah, you can join us on the comment section, drop your comments or questions for our guests, either here or you can send it as a text on 080 34. That's 60. That's the number to send it as a text. For privacy, we can read your text messages and not call your name. So you're free. Either you drop it on the comment section on Facebook or you just send a text. I'm already getting some here. So I'll just read them and then Julie, you just respond to them. This one says, my name is Aisha from Sokoto. I called off my engagement just 2 weeks ago and I've been getting a lot of backlashes. Please ask your guest what I should do because I'm also getting depressed right now.
Okay. Uh, like I said, the word depression is something people just use often. It's okay to say, I feel sad about the fact that I'm getting this backlash from people from a decision that I took that has to do with my life, my health, my well being, my progress. Now, this is not being selfish. If Aisha isn't completely whole, she's going to mess up her marriage. So she knows, and she personally knows why she took the decisions that she took. Perhaps these people should ask her a question, should ask her why. Why did you call off your engagement? And with all that is happening in the world today, people shouldn't people should actually mind their business, quote unquote. I'm being careful with the word when I say mind your business. Now, you don't mind your business to the detriment of another person's well-being. If I'm the one, I'm seeing somebody doing something, I wouldn't say, she's not related to me, she's not my sister, she's not my sibling, she's not my friend. Like, well, let her stay with her problem. No, I won't do that. If I find you going off track, I will go. Insult me, whatever it is you do it. But I will ensure that I draw your consciousness to what you're doing and that there's a way out. So for her, she should ask herself, would you want to please some other person? Would you want to please the public? Why did you take that decision yourself? What happened? What are you running from? What did you see? Did you take counsel? Is there a way out? Is there a possibility? Now, people usually prepare so much for the wedding ceremony, but they don't prepare before. So they make a budget for wedding dress, they make a budget for the cake, for the hall, and for the food, and for what we call ashoebi. So if you're in Nigeria, this part of the world, you would the ashoebi means the clothes that people wear, like a uniform that people wear. So we call it ashoebi. So people make investment in these things, but forget the most important thing, which is the premarital coaching, the premarital assessment, the premarital teaching or training. So they should go through that process because I really don't know why she took that decision, but she should not allow people's reactions to affect her because guess what? Whether you do something, people will talk. If you don't do anything, people will talk. People have mouth, and their mouth, they just use it and talk. What is most important is Aisha's life. If you think that's the best decision that you took, go on and live your life with time. The same people tongue lashing or backlashing are the ones that will come back and say, oh, thank God you took that decision. If you hadn't taken it, in fact, I was in support of what you did. I actually like the fact that you took that decision. They will come back. It happens. It's a normal CD that plays. Even a father that does not support the child, when the child eventually blows, like we call it, the father will say, I have always known that you will be a great person. It happens. So why would she get herself worked up? But please, let her talk to a counselor or a therapist. I would say she should speak with a counselor so that she's sure that the decision she's taking is the right decision for her.
Right
And if
one.
it isn't,
Yeah.
then she knows what to do.
Okay, this one again is here. He said, my name is Shade. I'm watching right from Lagos. Nice topic you have, and thanks for bringing this guest. I'd like to also ask the pressure that children go through, particularly with teenage years. My kids are terribly, terribly stubborn, and I don't know how I can relate with them. Am I giving them depression?
Great
Some
question.
mind-blowing text messages today, honestly.
I'm glad they're asking the question, and it is important. It's something that parents really, really, really need to sit up. Sometimes we feel handicapped when we bring in trainings, parental trainings to families. They make us look like, okay, what are you going to teach me how to parent my children? But guess what? We went to school to become the best of professionals, but we didn't go to school to learn how to handle the most important job on earth, which is grooming the next generation. So, where did we get our learning from? With what tools are we parenting our children? Oftentimes, I ask this question: when you're would you usually when I train, I talk to people and I ask them, I said, do you think you were trained well? Because when people say that our parents used to do this, used to do that, we didn't like it, but we turned out well. Well, as far as I'm concerned, is relative. So they say we turn out well. And then I asked them, okay, good. You were properly trained, right? And they said, yes. So how many of you would repeat or reuse the same template that your parents used on your own children? And the hands drop. Well, you said you received the best of training. So that should signal to us that there's something we need to learn or unlearn. So for her, you remember when I said something, when we make a statement, we kind of put a block, a boundary, a rigid wall around us. So when the parent says, my children are stubborn, they are going to manifest stubbornness. What she's going to see is stubbornness. She's not going to see beyond stubbornness because she has defined their behavior as being stubborn. How about she pauses and then ask herself the question, why are my children behaving like this? Now, could it be that she's wrongly interpreting a behavior of them trying to be decisive, trying to have a single voice? Because you must have one of the reasons we're having depression, people go through this, is the inability or the lack of a vitamin that we know, many people know as no namin. People lack the ability to say no. And I usually say that when we're training our children and we send them on errand, we ask them to do something and they say no. At that point, a typical African parent says, are you okay? Where are you coming from? I gave birth to you. Would you come and go and do what I asked you to do? Now we do that as parents. But guess what? If our children don't say no when they are children, how will they be able to say no to pressure from friends, to pressure from the environment? So when our children say no, when we give them instruction, it is for us to guide them and let them know why they should do what you've asked them to do. Let them know it's okay to say no. Let them understand when that no is appropriate to use. But telling them and shutting them up and telling them you must do as I say, you don't say no to an adult, you don't say no to your parents. We've trained them to not be able to say no in a healthy way. So when they become teenagers, They're experiencing things they do not like, but because they have repressed that ability for so long, it now shows up as an aggressive attitude. So parents should sit down, have a talk with their children. I'm going to give an example. So there was a time my son was like how many months old. I unlearned how to parent my children. So I didn't like it if I wanted to say something and they shut me up and all that. I didn't like it that I didn't have this connection. It didn't start like that with my mom. I speak with my mom now like every day, but it wasn't like that before. I didn't like that. So when I had my son, I remember I was at a salon waiting for my turn. So he messed up his diaper and I was having baby talks with him. I mean, he was how many months old at the time. I was having baby talks with him and that woman was like, why are you talking to your baby? Can you understand what you're saying? It wasn't about the baby. I was learning how to have conversations with my son so that I get used to having a dialogue with him. So children are human beings. They also feel things. In fact, depression affects children and it manifests in one of the ways, stubbornness. But it's not sufficient for the mother, the lady who sent the question, to diagnose her children as being depressive. No, it's not sufficient. But these are one of the ways that children could manifest being depressed. They could be stubborn, they could be aggressive, they could lose interest in doing certain things. But let her just receive coaching. Parents, I still learn. I read books on how to be a better parent. I seek guidance. I undergo trainings on how to be a better parent. And I think she should just do that, but not label the children as being stubborn. Because whatever it is she confesses, that's what she's going to experience.
True. I think hearing from you, it just shows that no age is too small for parents to even take their kids for checkup. Like you said, for counselors and all that to have. I think every family should have a family physician to give some of this advice, especially with breastfeeding, depression sets in, especially a first mother. You're learning so many things medically, you are getting to read differently. Grandmothers are also telling you their own version, and then the new mother is so confused on should I go
Yeah,
this way or go that way and all
yeah.
that. So it's really confusing. I'll come back and ask you a very important question. I need you to also tell us some of the things the organization does, but then there are some messages here on the screen. I'd like you to read them if you can see them. This is from Peter David in Kano.
David. Yeah, so he says depression is real, and most times people who should help and encourage you end up not giving you attention. While this is true, thank you, Peter David, for sending that. Now, when we say people that should help, who are the people that should help? The people that should help are equally human beings living under the same harsh condition that you're living in, going through the same traffic experience, under the same economic situation that we're in, so you expect another person to help you out of your situation. So what I teach oftentimes, yes, they are helpers, they are helpers, they are caregivers, they are therapists, they are physicians. Have you not heard Peter and so many other people there that physicians, even currently that we are battling COVID-19, many healthcare workers are battling hypertension, they're battling kidney problems, some of them have cancer, some of them are asthmatic and all of that. They're battling their own problems. Now, not to even mention those that are having relationship issues, those that are undergoing divorce, or they are having paternity issues or custody issues. There are so many things surrounding the caregiver. Yet the caregiver is expected to render care, understandably so. But guess what? As an individual, it is your primary responsibility to not only seek help, but to take responsibility for your own well being. So you can go, if especially when you speak to a therapist or you speak to a counselor, the counselor would want to engage you in a program. It's not sufficient to just say one of that. Oh, okay, don't worry, it is well. I will pray with you and all that. It is not sufficient. It may bring a temporal relief, but not a sustainable solution. So they might want to engage in a program. Helping someone going through depression or sadness or mood swings is like going to a hospital and going through series of tests. You would have to be asked questions. Questions about your appetite, questions about your mood, about your activities, about your sleep pattern, about your social life. They would have to do this, and this takes time. The practitioner would have to get all of these data from you in order to know how to come up with an intervention that would help you through so that you come out strongly. So, yes, sometimes caregivers, I would want to guess that those he mentioned that are supposed to help may not be professionals. Please, please, it is tough for people to render free services, not because they just want to make money, but because it takes a lot of commitment to go through therapy with someone. Sometimes our therapists have their lamenting stories where clients book for sessions and they don't show up. So, what do you do? Could it be because the sessions are free? Okay, so I want to be available to help somebody. And the person, oh, sorry, I couldn't make it. Oh, sorry, I had to work. Oh, sorry, this. So if you're going to an informal caregiver, you may not get the help because maybe the person is dealing with his own demons as well. Then if you go to a professional, please pay for your session. Just as you pay for your clothes, you pay for your cable network, you pay for the food that you eat. This is your health. It is important. Get a professional, pay for your therapy session. You could negotiate, you could ask for some kind of concession and all of that. But to just expect that someone would live their life and concentrate on you to take you through, it might be a difficult thing, especially in the times that we're in. So please, it's okay to talk to someone, but ensure you're talking to a professional. If you do not have the phones, we have cases where people don't have phones, and then we have those we can refer you to. Another challenge, very quickly, that I would say, sometimes we may have a full schedule, and we want to refer to our clients. Some are probably rendering free services, but some of the clients don't want to be referred. So it's usually a challenge. We're all professionals. So just engage these other people. We've had cases like that. So some clients come to me. I have my restrictions. There are some cases I don't attend to. But because they know me, they want me to attend. And I said, I'm sorry, as a matter of ethics, I cannot attend to you. And I want to refer. And they log off. Because at the end of the day, we also are human beings. We don't want to get ourselves, because I'm highly graphical. So there are certain therapies I don't bother going through. So I don't want to help someone. And at the end of the day, I carry all the demons that I've delivered the person of to my home and to my life. So therapists
True.
have a responsibility of taking care of themselves and protecting their emotions as well. So please, when we refer you to someone, kindly accept, or you may ask for options. But if you insist on seeing a particular therapist, it might be a tough call. So I hope I actually have been able to answer Peter David.
Yeah, thank you. We got this message here from Sarah Sam. Sarah Sam is in Jigawa. She says, very interesting topic. Another one, Peter David sent in a second time around. He says, too many expectations, pressures from all quarters makes people fall into depression. Please read this other third one Peter sent. It's quite lengthy, but help us read and
Societal,
respond.
yeah, societal vices have forced most people to abandon home training and fall for what they see from peer group, social media, and what have you. Some people just need you to talk to them, but the immediate people around them might be toxic and hate them for no reason. These oftentimes make them to keep their struggles to themselves, thereby giving up. So now, thank you, Peter David, for expanding on what you posted earlier. I think that there's been a lot of loopholes at the home front. Now, when they say home training is the fundamental education an individual gets that prepares him for the outside world. So whether it's to become a professional, whether it's to own a business, whether it's to parent, whether it's to become whoever, whatever on the surface of this earth, the home is supposed to give you the basics. But we miss out on home training. Home training is supposed to prepare you on how to manage a home, how to manage money, how to manage relationships, how to lead other people, how to set up a business, how to earn, how to save, how to manage finances. Home training is supposed to introduce an individual to all these areas of life. But because we lack the knowledge on how to properly train or groom our children, they are ill prepared for the society. So they see things because the human nature is usually after something, want to grab on something. So they go online, whatever it is they see, they feel, okay, let me try this. So there's a trial and error thing on how to live and grow. So they stumble over things on the internet and they follow suit, or they give in to pressure around them or in their environment. It is said that if you don't stand up for something, you will fall for anything. So right from the home front, parents and caregivers are supposed to give the child something to stand for, so that when the child is given other options, the child decides, oh, I have what I'm standing for already. I cannot give into this. Now, where an adult has been groomed from a faulty place, many of us are from dysfunctional homes. I'm a product of a broken home. So if we find many of us that find ourselves like that, then we have the personal responsibility to first of all fix ourselves. So when you say expectations, the society will keep expecting. So it's left for you to say, oh, no, I am not going to give in to any one of this. Because at the end of the day, it is me. Let me give you a typical example. So I had my third baby, or the last one. Let me not say third because I've closed shop. So my last baby, when I've closed shop, I've hung
That's
my
what we
boots.
dey
It's
hear.
unreachable.
That's what we keep hearing.
Oh, now no, that
Later
but
they will
that
blame Hamatan.
and
Later they
then
will blame
they
Hamatan.
can't see it happen. We are in agreement on this one. Don't worry. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So when I took in for her, I had to come to. I was already stressed out. I wanted a break. I felt I was done, and then I discovered I was pregnant. I knew at that point, I told my spouse already, and then I said that I am not psychologically prepared for this pregnancy. Now, I didn't do anything in the house for the first 3 or 4 months in my house. I told my people, usually when they hear I'm a ghost, they know that mom is not around. Whatever is your problem, go somewhere else. Daddy is there, someone, auntie is there, and all that. So I told them, I said, I'm a ghost. And I really was a ghost in my house for 4 months, almost 5 months. I didn't do nothing. My phone battery went down. I was out of data. My friends were concerned for me. I could have given into societal pressure where they say that, no, as a woman is expected, you're supposed to do certain things. Just find a way around it. You're the woman of the house. You're supposed to cook. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do that. But I kept asking myself, do you want to push? If you drop dead now, what's going to happen to your family, to your children, to this baby? I had to grow myself a whole lot of sense. I said, I choose to be selfish. Call it whatever it is you want to call it. I have to take care of me. And thank God for an understanding husband that I have. I had to explain to him how this works, because the same school that taught us that, woman, you are everything all in one, is the same school my husband went to. So there were certain expectations. But I had to sit down and then tell him not what I heard from training. I have to be honest with myself. I am losing strength to function in these areas. So I need to be well. What I told him then, and I usually use at my training, you're first a human being before the roles that you play at your different functions in life. I am first a woman before a mother and a wife. If the woman loses her relevance, the mother and the wife in her will suffer. So the woman and the man at all times need to be complete. They need to be whole. They need to be functional. Otherwise, the different roles that they play will suffer. They'll be injurious to their partners and to their children. So when I explained this, that's how we were able to go through. So my husband was like, okay, so what should we do to make this process a smooth one? And we outlined it, posted it on the wardrobe where everybody could see. He took responsibility. I bless God for the word that I had at the time. They took care of the other children while I had my time to come out. I knew I just needed time. I knew what I was going through. So when you say societal pressure, I would have given in to want to fit into the societal definition of who a wife and a mother is. When my word was taken, my children, what kind of a mother would be? Oh, it's only her word that has been taken. She's the first person to be pregnant. They could have said a whole lot, but I did not care. So please, sometimes tell those negative committee to shut up and sit down. Because when you are done, they would come, and some of them may not even honor you enough to come to your graveside. Oh, he's gone, he's gone. Oh, sorry, what a life. And they continue. So please, take the permission, give yourself permission to be selfish, not to the detriment of other people's well being, but something to enhance yourself, to be fully functional so that you can play the different roles because people need you. Your spouse will need you, your intending partner will need you, your parents will need you, your guardian. You are playing an important role in people's life that you may not even realize. There are people that will cry themselves out if anything happens to you. So you have the primary responsibility to take good care of yourself so that you can keep playing the roles. You're playing the lives of people you know and those that you do not know.
Mm. This is deep, Julie. This is deep. So many messages are coming in. Oh, Julie, I wanted to ask you to tell us a little more about your organization and what it does because I know a lot of people will reach out later on to. And yes, for our viewers, Julie has graciously said she will give discounts to all Shagalinku TV viewers. So eventually, when she calls out how you can reach her, whenever you need her services, please just type in that. You saw her via Shagalinku TV and then you will enjoy some discount. Julie, some messages are here. Should we read them before you talk about your,
Oh, yes,
your
please go
organization?
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so take this one from Sarah Sam in Jigawa.
Okay, depression has a lot to do with sadness, anxiety, sorrow, misery, dejection, low spirits. Way out is to share your misery, your problems with trusted associates, siblings, and family. Believe once you are alive, you can surmount the challenge. Keep your hope alive. Avoid being alone or isolating yourself. Music, especially gospel, will go a long way. Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Sarah has given some nuggets like that. So in all of these, just be sure of who you're speaking to, and then
Mm,
some people may not be gospel music. Some people have like there's some kind of sounds that work for people. It goes to one knowing oneself. Thank you so much, Sarah. So do you have more?
There's another one. There's another one here from Omoye. Please read.
Okay. I will say because depression is not seen as a serious illness in our society, hence we carry it daily. It becomes chronic. We all experience it. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Mm,
Because in short, this
true.
is this is very critical because it's not seen and people don't take it seriously. That's why I had to break it down. If you're experiencing sadness and it's sustained, if you're experiencing sustained sadness or you're sad for no reason, you're losing interest in activities and your friends are going out and say, oh, please, no, you love this. Why not let go? And you lose interest in it. That's the time to call and ask for help. And let's just as we go for physical care, let's understand that we are multifaceted. We have different dimensions of functioning. So your physical health is what we readily run to the hospital to. Oh, I'm having physical pain, I'm having headache, stomach pain, and
Mm,
all of that. I have fever. You run to the hospital. But guess what? When you're having mood swings, when you're having anxiety, when you're experiencing panic attack, when you're losing interest, when you're lacking for the men, there's low libido, as against what it used to be. There's low sexual performance and all of that. You're
mm.
losing interest in your favorite games and activities. Hey, that's the time to ask for help. Go get help. Just as you will go buy Panadol, go buy a session. Go buy a therapy session for yourself. It's important.
Hmm. Okay, I'll take one last text here and we must talk about you before we wrap up. This one is from Malik in Awuchi. He says, nice time to your guest. I've been listening to every word she's been saying and it's been soothing to me, especially knowing that I finished youth service 4 years ago and yet to get a job. Even when I had to go back to ABU Zaria to do my postgraduate, thinking that that would get me a job, I'm still here jobless.
Interactions matter, interactions matter, interactions matter. Now, that's why I said home training. And sometimes we don't have these things because our parents didn't have the full manual, and we also don't have the full manual. We just keep learning on how to adequately give our children proper training. Now, it's sad how some of us were trained to just get out of school and get a good job. But if you do not have a job yet, it's not the end of the road. What other aspects of you? It's just getting a job is one aspect of your function as a human being. There are other areas that can function. When you, what association do you have? What friends? What network do you have? When you interact with people that are progressive in nature, they are progressive in their work, then you might just have some ideas. And please, let me say to the person who sends the message and to many other people out there, whatever your hand finds to do, do it. It may seem demeaning. It may seem it's not bringing financial reward. It may seem like it's not like something you want, but in every little thing, it might just be the step to that your dream. So whatever your hands finds to do it. You never can tell what it could lead to.
Well, thank you very much. Now, please, anyway, Alexandra Etim, thanks so much. She says she's watching from Abuja, so you are really doing well. If we keep taking the messages, we won't leave. Can we do a part two? Can I ask this first before we go for the last question? Can we do a part two?
Okay, sure. We're available. We're available.
Hey, I guess has agreed to do a part two. So keep the messages coming. We'll keep them, screenshot them, and then we'll bring it up for her to read because so many are here. Anyway, Julie, would like you to
Okay.
tell us more about your organization. It's you're doing an amazing job, I must say. We live in a climate where people don't get appreciated for what they do. People trend more when they do the bad and negative things, but people who do well, people who are out to touch human lives, who work for human, celebrate them. And that's on the show, we are known to always celebrate people who do things. Sometimes they ask me, where do you go to pick all these your guests? These are amazing people, but we don't get to see them on CNN and all that. I say there are a whole lot of people doing silently in the grassroots and affecting lives that 1,001 of them everywhere, like you and others. So, what does the organization do? How can they reach you and all that? And our discount to Shagalinku TV discount.
Okay, so we came up with a concept known as family bond nursing. That's why people know me as the family bond nurse. We came up with that concept. And what is that concept? To open the people's eyes to the different connections, invisible connections that they have and they are surrounded with. How to know the ones that are toxic to their well being and the ones enhancing their health, and how they can leverage the good connections in order to improve their human functioning. So what we do as an organization, we approach hospitals, we they either outsource their nursing department. Why are we focusing mainly on nurses and maybe customer care staff? Is because they interface with patients. When a patient is coming into the hospital, they're already coming with problems. So the first person they meet is very important. What the person says and what the person does could affect negatively or positively the patient. So we train customer care staff of hospitals and the nurses as well on how to better relate with not only patients but to also understand how they can involve the family in the care of the patient, because we believe that the patient is just half of the patient. The other half is the family or their significant other. So for families, we coordinate their care. So if you have a person who is ill or undergoing a medical treatment and all that, you need assistance, you need care, you need information about how better to help your patient or your family member, or how you can even manage the entire process, because it could really be overwhelming, especially if one person is burdened with the care of the one who is ill. So we have connections with individuals and organizations, physicians, home and abroad. So when I say home, I'm talking about Nigeria and abroad. So we are also in collaboration with an organization, a telemedicine organization in Abuja. What we do is we take healthcare to people So we have portable equipment that we take to people's homes, especially those that are scared and don't want to visit the hospital. We're able to come to you to conduct this test, and then you can have remote consultation with your physician in Nigeria or abroad. This service is first kicking off in Abuja, but if you're in any other location, we can always make an arrangement as well for you. Then, well, schools are on, we do lots of training, then we do therapy. So the therapy that we use, we have certain tools that we use to work with people. Now, it's not just for people who are ill, it's for people to prevent illness. I'm a preventive person. I try to prevent because I've been in the clinical setting before and I said, no, I've seen avoidable and preventable deaths. I've seen that. And I say, how can we help people to not even end up in the hospital or to reduce hospital readmissions? So if you find it difficult to balance your life, you find it you're yelling. Now, let me say one thing very quickly. Now, in nursing, there's this diagnosis known as impaired parenting. People don't know that it's a nursing diagnosis. Impaired parenting. So how does it manifest? When you're constantly yelling at your children and you make statements like, "These children, you will not kill me." So when you find yourself constantly making these things, you're having a challenge parenting your children. So at that point, call in a family nurse to take you through on how you can, because there are stages of development and there are milestones that will require children to manifest certain things. Parents need to have an understanding of the different stages of a child's development and their characteristics. So a professional will take you through this. So that's basically what we do. We engage in virtual coaching, training, and therapy sessions. So if you need help with how to set up a system for your family, if you're single and you want to get married, please, you can engage us. We'll take you through a premarital program. And interestingly, we take it all through from preconception to weeks or months after you've had your child. So you can go through a whole program. If you want to contact us, you can visit our website, www.royalnursingconsult.com.ng, or simply send a WhatsApp message to 09010778382. 09010778382. If you send a message, we will be able to reach you. And I really do hope you do, so that we can improve on our daily functioning.
Wow, thank you very much. And do remember to say Shagalinku TV. If you don't get discount, my hand no day. We've been able to secure and beg Julie for this one. Okay, Julie, we need to run, but
All right.
messages are here. Let's just quickly take them so they don't call me and then start lashing me that they wanted you to see the messages before you leave.
Okay.
This one is from Pascal in Lagos. It says, "Very amazing session, great social impact. Your guest is doing a phenomenal work. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Pascal, all the way from Lagos." Julie, take this one
Pastor.
for us if you can see it and respond.
Okay, so Gabari Hepzibah says most people see someone who is depressed as sad and silence. No, most depressed people are the ones who talk more or try to have fun, and all that. We should pay attention more to these kind of people. Well, in as much as I agree with you, it doesn't apply to most people. So it may be to the people you know. There are some that could just be withdrawn and would not participate in any activity. So somehow this ties with the person's personality. So you cannot expect a sanguine to become just fully melancholy when they are depressed. So their nature would always speak. So they will go smiling and jumping and doing all the parties, but when they go back to their closet, they are withdrawn, they feel hopeless and all that. But because their friends are used to them playing that particular way, they just go out and just want to keep making people excited, whereas they're suffering. But I totally do agree with you, FCBA, when you said that we shouldn't take people at face value. I have gone beyond just receiving, "How are you? I'm fine." I don't do that anymore. And I say, no, 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 no. I don't want that generic response. So how are you? Talk to me. So I agree with you, FC, but let's go beyond face value and ask real questions and get good responses from people.
Okay, This person sent the text 3 times from Ghana, but this will be the last. I said Etibazo was the last, but this was said 3 times again just for us to be sure that we see it. He said,
Okay.
Good afternoon. I've been watching your guests from when you started almost an hour ago. I must say this is like a mind-blowing session. Please help me ask her what I can do as a nursing mother. It's getting me very, very sad and affecting the relationship between me and my husband. On that she wrote anonymous. Yeah, but she's from Ghana.
I'm glad she asked that question. Just that is coming at the time that we're ending this.
Hmm.
That would require a whole lot. And if she can, please, if you're listening, please send a text. Of course, add the country code to it. That's something. When I wasn't doing this work with pregnant women, I wasn't speaking out to the public about it. It's like God had to make me experience that with my last baby. And
Hmm.
I literally had to tell God, please forgive me. Okay, I will blow the trumpet. I was, even through all my pregnancies, I have helped people. So it's like, I don't want it to play average. I don't want it to play small about this. There are many people going through. I had to go through it. I had to go through it. And I told God, I said, please forgive me. I'm going to do more in this regard. So, in order to help the woman, it happens across many, 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 many homes. We had our own issues as well. Well,
Hmm.
patiently, I had to, like, it's like it was like coaching everybody in the house, taking everybody through it, and God did amazingly, and we're able to come out of it strongly. So please reach out. Please reach out. I don't know if you have the person's number. Let her just reach out. Let's see how what we can do to help your family and help you, especially as a nursing mother.
Well, your final words of greeting to anyone as we wrap
So
up.
I would, okay, thank you. So I usually wrap up with this. Don't be afraid to ask for help. When you ask for help, it's not a sign of weakness. It is actually you being courageous in order to stay strong. You are needed. You are important. It may not look like it. It may not appear like it. You may not hear it. But guess what? There are people that need you alive. If not for anything, for yourself, please ask for help. It's part of life.
Wow. Thank you, thank you so much. It's been amazing, and I really must thank our guest, Julie Mogbo. I hope I got that right. I was trying to pronounce that all day. Thank you so much, Julie. You don't know what this means to us here. I've been trying to get you on a couple of times now, and somehow we've not been able to reach a conclusion on up until just last week when we were able to reach you more. Thank you so much. And you can see from the contributions that honestly, this topic is something people hardly talk about, and then it's a good thing we're talking about it. And thanks so much. It's been soothing for me as well because every time I bring guests here, I also learn. I learn every day. And thanks. We can't thank you enough. And yes, to all our viewers, thank you so much. Even those who couldn't read their messages, Julia has promised to come back a second time, and so we'll find time maybe first or second week of February to have her again. And we'll try to do series so that it will just be fine. Maybe we'll take out a Tuesday and a Saturday of that week and do series with her so that it will just be a holistic one because they say health is wealth. Especially with this period where so much is happening, everyone is just scared. You are a little hot or your running temperature, you're feeling somehow a little cough, you are feeling so much is happening, and then you tune into news, you are hearing so many things, it's depressing, you don't even know which one to battle. You are battling the health issues, you are battling insecurity, you're battling bad economy, everything is just going wrong somehow. But then we have an Almighty, and He said we should put our trust in Him for everyone who is religious. That's just our consoling word. And then we'll bring Julie again a second time so that we could just do series a Tuesday and a Saturday, 1 hour, and then see how it goes. So keep your messages, just keep them inbox, bring them on. We'll just keep them and let her have it prior to the next session we'll have. so that she could also add it in her presentation that she'll be doing. Thanks to everyone who joined us. I can't reach the messages now to start calling your names, but yes, thanks to everyone who joined. The video will still be here after the show, both on YouTube, both on Facebook, Shagalinku TV. And remember to like all our social media handles, our Twitter, our Instagram, and do reach out to us. If there are topics particularly you want us to talk about here on Shagalinku, do reach out to us and we'll find a way of getting that topic discussed. Thank you all so much for finding time to join us. My name is Ambassador Emmanuel Gabari and saying bye bye for this Tuesday's edition. You enjoyed what you saw? Let's do it again on Saturday, God willing, 2 p.m. God bless you all and have a nice day.